Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Civil War Podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And this is Brian. I almost wasn't ready because Tim surprised me now. We went from our usual 3-second countdown to a 5-second one. So
Yeah, I'm just changing it up. It's going to be a random number countdown every time, just to keep
yeah,
you on your toes.
it's exciting. Maybe we'll incorporate it into a contest. Like how long was the countdown? But yeah, we have a we're gonna. I might as well prep. We don't have a huge first chop today because we're actually for a rare instance recording extra early. So we could because I have some travel next week, and so we figured instead of trying to rush that through next week after a long time, we would actually just do an episode super early. And we have another one coming out. By the time you hear this, you'll have heard last week's episodes. It's one of
Yeah.
those back in time things. And we had a great interview with author Rebecca Mahoney, and so I think you guys probably love that one because I had an amazing time talking with her.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're kind of back on track again, but it's been tough because March is always a busy month for travel. Like I've actually got to go out of town um, this coming Friday for a competition with Joshua. So,
Hopefully
yeah.
you're driving because the airports are not fun.
Yeah, fortunately, I'm driving. It's only in Charlotte, so it's only about 3.5 hours from here. So, but yeah, it's been a fun, busy, crazy spring. But I think we're doing pretty good. Keeping on track. I know we missed a couple weeks here and there, but it was due to good reasons. I mean, there was absolutely good reasons for it, and we're trying to keep them as regular as possible. But this episode, we're going to talk about probably one of my favorite Stephen King books of all time. But we'll get into that in a little bit. Of course, we're talking about The Long Walk, which has turned into a fantastic movie. But
And Long Walk is not describing the walk it takes to get to back to Thunderbird at
yes,
Holiday World
yeah,
from
that's right.
the beginning of the park when it's 11:30 at night.
Although that walk, sometimes you want somebody to come along and shoot you just to put you
Yes,
out of your
I did.
misery.
Yeah, in fact, I almost got. I think Julie was going to shoot me when we tried that one time. It was like that first Hollywood night. She's like, I can't go back there. I think she actually stayed. She's like, you guys go back there. I'll come back.
Uh,
That's definitely any theme park fans will know at Hollywood Nights. It's very similar to the Long Walk in a way where it's a walk of attrition,
yes.
and that ride happens to be so far in the back. I think they added that other coaster there, right? Good Gravy is I think kind of in the middle of that
So you at
now,
least
so
have
it's not.
something to do on the way. Yeah.
Oh my God, because you walk back and whatever was originally there wasn't there for the longest time, so you just walk back with nothing. I think I walked into a pole on the way back. I was so tired that one time. So I mean that could happen honestly. Let's be fair.
When
I
you're
could have
not
done that.
tired. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, with like full strength. But yeah. But anyway, yeah. So we'll get into the Long Walk because that's a fun movie well, fun in a way that it'll make some good conversation, not a fun scenario in any way.
That's right. All right. Well, here it is, our first chop. All right, Brian, kick things off with your pick this week.
Yeah, so once again, Conway seems to come through with with these good tips,
Yeah.
and he spotted this
He's the
on
man on the ground.
he is, and it's like whenever he's on the ground, he finds things like
That's right.
people pick up sometimes loose change. Tim, but Cohen finds great like Blu-rays and digital copy sales, or just I guess it's a digital copy because it's just a digital. I don't think there's a DVD for it, but anyway, it was he noticed on Vudu. It's one of those things I refuse to call a Fandango at home. It's gonna be Vudu until they
I
force me not
know.
to
I've tried to,
redirect.
and it just sounds so cumbersome coming out of my mouth.
Yeah,
But
it's too long. Voodoo was perfect. It was
yeah.
great. But and he found a deal was $5 and it was a documentary called Spooktacular and it's all about the first ever true horror theme park called Spooky World. And it was really cool. Like there's some great clips of like I mean Tiny Tim was involved, Tom Savini. I mean, John Krasinski mentioned it on a late night talk show once, and so it's for I don't remember it, which is kind of odd because usually these are something I remember. Like honestly, I probably saw as younger. I saw a commercial for it or something. It just maybe didn't register the way it did. But this predated a lot of the big spooky parks of today. So really fascinating documentary. It's about an hour and a half, so it's full length, but it goes by really fast. Just really cool. So Tim, you need to check that out. I think you'll like that.
Yeah, that sounds definitely right up my alley. And I had never heard of that one. And I just had a quick book review here because uh, I had actually finished this a couple weeks ago and forgot to talk about it. But it's one of those horror anthologies I like that are full of horror short stories. I've always loved those growing up, and I especially like them when they have a theme. And this one is themed around the ocean, and it's called "The Devil and the Deep: Horror Stories of the Sea." It's edited by Ellen Datlow, and if you've read a lot of horror anthologies, you probably recognize her name because she has done a lot of like the year's best horror type anthologies. So you'll see her. She does a lot of horror anthology stuff. But of course, it's various authors, and they're all doing stories about the ocean. And some of the stories are very what you might expect, like sea monster type stuff. But there's such a wide variety here that I think that's why I can wholeheartedly recommend this book. Like every story is very unique and it takes on a different thing. Like I said, there's some traditional like sea monster type stories, but there's some that are like very supernatural. There's some that are very more like crime thriller. And actually my favorite story in the entire book takes place nowhere near the ocean. And it was so insanely clever. It is a western,
Oh.
and it basically substitutes the plains of the Midwest for the ocean. And there's a reason why that works, which I won't give away. But it was a really cool story. So yeah, if you're interested in horror anthologies and you like your short story anthologies, especially the thematic ones, and I love like ocean horror anyway, the Devil and the Deep: Horror Stories of the Sea is a great little pickup.
Our friend Ken will tell us his ocean horrors when we all play Sea of Thieves on Xbox,
Yes.
and and like Tim is set to go on land to go get all the treasures while Ken steers our ship, and Steve and I just usually just drink grog and throw up in each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's kind of fun. But yeah, so I actually this sounds really cool because honestly, ocean horrors it really is a cool genre when you think about it because it's like almost like 99.9% always like isolation is one of the fears in it.
It's basically if you think about it, it's basically space horror. It's
Yeah.
essentially the same thing. It's just inverted because it's a large unexplored place that may hold monsters, and that's sort of where kind of space horror and ocean horror are similar in that respect.
I think Jason did both.
Yes, Jason did both.
So go figure. So he really is a man of all
Because
sorts of horror.
technically
He
he
just
wasn't he in the ocean at least somewhat for Jason Takes Manhattan, right? He had to get
Yeah,
into the
well, the
ocean
boat.
some,
Yeah, well, I mean,
or
if
did
you
he go
go
up a
by like
river?
geography, that
Yeah,
doesn't work. What
yeah,
happened, what
yes,
they did, but we'll bypass that, considering it was like his seventh or time he came back alive.
yeah.
But but yeah, no, it was. But now I think it made me think of an idea. Be the coolest thing somehow if they incorporated Jason into a western. That's what they need to do next. Can you
I've
imagine that?
I know I've always thought I had this weird idea, like really weird idea. Like one day I was thinking about my brother Kevin's podcast, The Fox and the Foxhound, which is a Harry Potter podcast. And I was thinking about like Harry Potter genre mashups, and I was trying to figure out like what a Harry Potter western would look like. Does that make
Huh.
any sense? Like assuming wizards were around
Yeah.
during the Wild West times, right? They had to be because this goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. If you look at the Potter lore, like there's been schools for magic going back centuries. So at some
Yeah.
point there were muggles and wizard interactions in the Wild West, I think you would have to say. So I
I
was trying
like
to
that. It could be called the Deathly Gallows.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah, there you go.
but yeah, no, and yeah, that's actually a great idea, Tim. You may have like come up with something that unfortunately I don't want J.K. Rowling to write it, but I want
Yeah.
someone else to write a good fan fiction for it. That would
Yeah.
actually be really cool.
I was
You
trying to
know,
figure out because I wanted to write it. I was like, but I don't know enough. Here's my problem with writing Harry Potter hand fan fiction is I don't feel like I know the books well enough backwards and forwards that I wouldn't make some like egregious mistake, and like every Harry Potter fan would be like, no, that's not how it
yeah,
works.
but that you have the best thing. You just write it and then give it to Kevin and Amanda and have them like proofread it. Because the whole
Yeah,
thing is it should be different. Like it's not it should be characters that maybe you have the 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 luxury of it's never been mentioned in any of the books or movies. So you have like this open sandbox,
yeah, I think it'd be
to do
fun.
everything.
Yeah,
I mean, who knows? You could go find a way why, like, the unexplained Wild West. Like, why did gold disappear, like, in a cave? Because, hey, maybe a wizard got there first and and did like a cast a spell so it wasn't be able to be seen. It's the possibilities are endless. I'm manifesting it for you, Tim. That's it.
No,
I want to
thank you.
see a Harry Potter Western
Yeah,
by the end of the year.
I'll,
At
I'll
least
do
the
my best.
synopsis.
Yeah,
Yeah, at least the
a
synopsis.
pitch, some kind of pitch or something.
Yeah,
All right,
that'd be
so
cool.
yeah, let's get into the long walk. So this is apparently this was the first novel Stephen King ever wrote, even though it was not the first novel that was published, which was Carrie, of course.
Interesting. I
But
didn't realize.
he wrote
Wow.
this under the Richard Bachman pen name, and I remember when I first read this, and granted, this has been decades ago. I have not reread it since, so I can't really speak to the story of the book. But I remember it being one of my absolute favorite Stephen King works, period, of all time. And it's to me, it still is. Like in my mind, it still is one of my favorite pieces of work he's ever done. So I was really excited for this movie, and it doesn't disappoint. I mean, I would rank this. I haven't gone through every Stephen King adaptation and tried to look at see them all total in one space to try to rank them, but I would definitely put this one way up there in terms of Stephen King adaptations. I think they did an excellent job. It feels like one of those King adaptations. Like I feel like you could put those in different tiers. Like
Yeah.
Shawshank Redemption is obviously like S tier. This one I would probably put S tier or A tier. Um,
That's funny you said that. I've been watching this thing. I got into this weird algorithm on YouTube where I don't know what I looked at, but literally there's like 800 videos about the Mighty Ducks movies, and one of them they did is if the Mighty Ducks had their players were real, like where tiers they would
yes,
fall in, and
yeah,
I was like, I find myself like fascinated
I
with this
know.
whole tier thing. That actually should be. Oh, wait a minute. That we should call it Tears for Fears, and that's our like that's our segment, man. We'll maybe we'll borrow again from something else,
Oh
like
my
we
God,
borrow from podcasts.
let's see, we'll steal something else. Then we get sued by
Yeah.
Tears for Fears for band name infringement or
Well,
something
no,
crazy.
we spell it differently though. You can't
Yeah.
say that.
Okay. Oh
So
God. So that is a great idea, though. I would love to. Like, I watch those ranking videos all the time. Like,
yeah,
J,
right.
like I do. Like, I watch a lot of JRPG channels that do Japanese role playing games, and they do that a lot. Like S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier. That would be fun. I'd love to do that for some movies franchises. But yeah, this
Cool.
like I said, Shawshank definitely S tier. This one has to be S or A tier, and then you have the other ones that are like it goes down from there. Then you have like
Yeah.
your its, which are way up there, but then you have like your Firestarter remake, which is like way down there kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
and so many of them have been remakes or they went like TV versions or shows. It's
yeah.
like this thing will be like could stretch over like a 18 episode arc at this
Well,
point, I
they
think. But
have an app that does all that for you. Like you can like it has
really,
yeah, like they have an app or a website that you can go to. That's how these YouTubers make these things. Where you can put all your
oh,
things that you're ranking at the bottom, like little screenshots of them, and then you can drag and drop them into the different tiers.
oh,
So
I think we need to do that.
we could do that.
I think this
Yeah,
has got to be done. I think that we've just
we could do
come up
that
with a
for our.
live idea.
That would be good for our video if we do our video
Oh,
podcast.
yes. Yeah, that could be our first actual just full on video episode. Maybe that's something we do like for like that. We save it for those kind of things, like
Yeah.
special things, because if we ever eventually get a Patreon or anything, like that would I could see an episode that would be like beyond the Patreon wall. But
Okay.
this one we're now that we're teasing it will come free. So
I'm locking it in. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do
yes.
some kind of tier ranking. I don't know what the subject. If you guys have any ideas for the subject of what you want us to tier rank, we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
obviously, like, I mean, we could start off with an easy one. Like Stephen King one is that's like if you're going to talk about tier level difficulty, you rank it right there. Right. But like, we could start with something like a Friday the 13th. You know, like something where we know really really well, and it's kind of got like a sizable number, but like not like too small, and it
crazy.
gives us a
Yeah,
good like discussion point. I think we should.
yeah,
I think that
that'd be
I'm gonna
fun.
start. I'll work on that. Like start throwing some ideas around, and then yeah, and like you said, if anyone has a good one to do, like it could even be like movies based off of like I don't know, like board games or something. That's we can go through that way. I
Yeah,
think
anything that we could just rank. That'd be fun.
I
Um,
like this.
so The Long Walk came out last year. It was directed by Francis Lawrence, starring Cooper Hoffman as Raymond Garrity, number 47, David Johnson as Peter McVries, number 23, Garrett Waring as Stebbins, number 38, Tut Nuwat, I hope I was pronounced that right, as
I
Arthur
think so.
Baker,
Yeah.
number 6, Charlie Plummer as Gary Barkovich, number 5. Ben, I feel like I'm shouting out like a baseball roster or
I
something.
know it's like now
Yeah.
batting,
So,
Ben Wang, number 46. Yeah, no.
yeah, Ben Wang as Hank Olson, number 46. Jordan Gonzalez as Richard Harness, number 49. Joshua Ojic as Collie Parker, number 48. And Mark Hamill as the Major, which
He's
was,
number one
he's
in
number
our
one.
hearts.
Definitely number one.
And I will say I didn't put her on there because for some reason the IMDb had her so down, but Judy Greer,
Yes.
like not to diminish her performance, she had a small role in it, but it might have been her finest role. Like
Yeah.
she was so good in this.
The synopsis here, if you don't know about this story, a group of teenage boys compete in an annual contest known as the Long Walk, in which they must maintain a certain walking speed or get shot. Now, think of this kind of like, to me, this is very like Hunger. This obviously predates the Hunger Games,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
in
very
terms,
Hunger Games.
but if you think of the Hunger Games in terms of why are these people doing this, it's because the winner basically gets they're set up for life. I don't think
Yeah.
we're ever told exactly what they get, but
Well, they get money and they get one
they
wish.
get
I know
one big
that,
wish, and then they get
and
we
money,
know
a
they get
lot of
money,
money, I
a lot of
guess.
money, but
But
we don't know exactly what all that entails. But we know that it's life changing. Like, what if you can survive this? Like, your life is you're scot free the rest of your life. You're good to go. You got everything you would ever want. So uh, this is a voluntary submission to be put into a lottery to be drawn to participate in this annual contest. And if your name is drawn, you get to participate. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Brian. In the book, it was 100 boys. In this one, was it 50? Did they knock it down? Because I feel like,
I I thought it was 100, but maybe I was reading some. I was trying to read some behind the scenes stuff, and I may have mixed the two up. You're right. It may have been 50 in the movie.
because I didn't see any
It would
numbers
make sense
over.
because they said one from each state. I
Yeah.
thought they said, and so
Yeah, I
which
think
would
they,
make sense that it's 50. So I think, and what and what's interesting is too, it's like, and we'll get into a little more of this when we talk about it, but they had a like when you said it's like a voluntary thing, it's weird because it almost kind of comes off as like it's almost like the draft or something. Like you
yeah.
sign up when you're a certain age, but like, and it's actually a major plot point in one of the discussions that they have, where they say like, why? What do you mean? Like like this is voluntary, but everyone signs up when they don't have to. What does that tell you about it? And it kind of brings the the certain topics up into the group to discuss as they
Here's
go
the.
along.
I was almost going to save this for our final question, but I think it's worth talking about it now. This is the one aspect of the story I don't fully buy into. And that's because, and granted, I think it's left vague for a reason because I think if you tried to explain it, you could pick holes into it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I found that a lot of times, but it's like it's funny. But if you stay away and not ask, you still enjoy it, and it's fine.
Yeah,
You accept it.
I think from
But
like if you really think about this logically, you're like, what kind of contest would people voluntarily commit to in which they have only a 1 in 50 chance of surviving?
yeah,
And to my mind, it was like it would be like somebody come up to you, like take all the trappings of a competition out of it. Somebody comes up to you and hands you 50 jelly beans, and they say one of these jelly beans makes you a millionaire for life. The other 49 kill you instantly. Like,
yeah,
who's gonna take that bet unless they're absolutely forced to do so at gunpoint? Who's gonna
yeah,
choose a jelly bean? I mean, how? And, I think it's kind of implied that things are so bad off in America that this is
yeah,
the only way out. But I mean, how bad off does it have to be where your only choice is a 1 in 50 chance of not being dead? I mean, I don't. I'm trying to comprehend. Like, if you look at
yeah.
and they show his home life, it doesn't look that bad.
No,
He was-
I mean it.
I
Well,
mean,
so Garrity has an which I mean I guess there's going to be some spoilers here. I mean
yeah,
he does have some ulterior motives,
right,
which what I like about it is you find out like he almost pokes hole in his own motives by the end of the thing,
right,
and he
yeah,
doesn't even realize why he's doing it, and he realizes what a mistake he did. He thought he was doing it for a specific reason when he ended up doing it for a reason that now has just done nothing, and it hasn't changed anything. It hasn't made it, in fact, it just made things worse for his family.
yeah. I guess
So
it. I'll put it. I'll describe it this way. When you see these movies like Scream movies or something, and there's motives for the characters, but you don't really say like like, it seems so far fetched that they would actually go and murder somebody over
Yeah.
this motive. Like seems so flimsy. But if you don't think about it, it's very entertaining. I think that's kind of how it
Yeah.
is with this. Like, yes, there's a motive there. It doesn't really make much sense when you really start peeling it apart. But if you just go with the flow of it, it's great. It's fun.
Yeah,
So
like this one, I almost feel like there either, I mean, this could have been intentional, like you said. I think there's a lot of intentional ambiguity in this, but like to me, it's like it almost had to been like for me to have. I mean, and again, I know it kind of goes against the last. It's weird because my I think my fan topic food question was that's why I kind of did it in two parts. I had a feeling we'd kind of lean into the
yeah, yeah,
discussion of this throughout the the episode as it is, but we'll still do the question. But like for me, it would have to be like, like, because I guess we get money or set up, but like you would have to be in a thing where your life was in danger in order, and this was your only way out, because then you're like, okay, well, whatever, I might die anyway.
yeah.
I'm gonna do this and risk it because I could possibly save my family. And in this
But you
case, it
don't.
was just Garrity and his mother. But
You'd almost have to be literally life or death just to make this decision because, or
yeah,
suicidal because otherwise, why would you? I mean, because if you die, you're not helping your family,
right.
and the odds are better that you're going to die than they're not. So I don't know.
Yeah,
This was
and there's another thing too that like there's one thing that I did like is that like everyone that kind of was there though they did kind of try and go and give them somewhat of a reason why they did it. Some were like okay, I get it, why you did it. And it definitely it's definitely a mental aspect to it that has driven these people there. Like it's like they're not right in the head for it
well,
to
it's the
to have
same thing
led
with
to this.
Squid Game. Squid Game's the same thing. It's the same concept, right? Like Squid Game, these people are voluntarily, more or less, signing up for a contest which they're probably going to not come out alive.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
um, I
yeah,
understand.
but oh, I was gonna say, but the thing is, I didn't understand was the whole thing. And Mark Hamill says it a bunch of times. Like, what? I don't understand how that is supposed to. Just like in the Hunger Games, it was because like I don't. I think it was really like it was a different setup. And here it's like one country basically, and it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be viewed as patriotic, and it's supposed to help the whole country to watch this. I can't see that. That wouldn't do that to me. I probably wouldn't watch it. I
Well, the,
couldn't watch something like that.
I think you have to look at it like the Purge movies, where there's this completely improbable thing that occurs every year, but it's been going on so long that people have stopped questioning it. And I think you
Yeah.
kind of have to go into this assuming this long walk has been such a tradition for so many years that it has become normalized, just
But I
like
mean,
the
would
Purge.
you would that make you? I would be like, what the hell kind of place are we living in that makes people do this? That feel or makes them people feel like they need to do this.
But if you were
Like I'm like
but if you were born with it happening, you might not question
maybe
it.
maybe
Maybe.
yeah. I mean that's true. We're looking at it as viewer's lens, and we're like on an outside of it looking. We're like, oh, I'd be like, oh, this could never happen. But right nowadays, I don't know.
Well, then again,
But
in this movie though, it feels like it hasn't been going on. What I'm talking about would be generational. This
yeah,
feels like
yeah,
it hasn't been going on for generations because you feel like the major has been part of it for his whole life. It hasn't been predating the major. That's what
right.
I gathered from this. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because I think, yeah, and the way Mark Hamill does a good job of like presenting that, like he's like that's his whole identity is this thing,
yeah,
you
so I
know.
don't
And
just roll with it.
but it's also like, is he leading the whole country? Like, is he like in place of the president? Like, do they mention? I don't think did they mention that there's a president or mention a
I,
leadership or a government?
I think all this is so vague on purpose because the concept
Yeah,
is so unbelievable that they almost had to make it vague so that the reader, or in this case, the viewer,
yeah.
can just fill in the gaps as best they can. Because I think the whole premise quickly falls apart if you look too much into it.
Right.
But that's not to take away from the movie or the story because the whole
Yeah.
thing is a lot of I don't again. I would come back to this a lot of fun. A lot watching kids get shot. No, it's not a lot of fun,
Yeah.
but it's compelling, I should say.
But if you think about it, right? If someone describes this movie to you, right? hey, want to watch a movie? It's about an hour and 40 minutes. It's about like these people that have to walk, and if they slow down, they get killed. And I'm like, they're like, well, how the hell are you gonna make a movie out of that? Like that's got to be as boring as can be.
Well, yeah, I tell you
And
what, they did a great job. I thought about the same thing because I sat down to watch this at 10 o'clock at night, right?
uh,
And now my bedtime's 10 o'clock, guys. Like
yeah,
I'm usually in bed by 10. I sat down, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch 30 minutes of this, and then I'm going to bed. I just wanted to get it started. I ended up watching the whole thing. Like
yeah,
I was so enraptured by it, like I couldn't stop it. So they took, to Francis Lawrence's credit, he took what should be a very boring cinematic experience and really made it like riveting.
yeah. Well, I mean, because I think the characters are so like I mean I don't know how they compare in the book. Like I do need to read the book to really come up, but at least in whatever the screenplay was, they made the characters so engaging because they had like and it was really defined like which characters you were gonna like, which ones you wouldn't. And the fact that like, probably everyone that watches it has someone that they could probably relate to in it, like, oh, I'd probably be like them. I
Mm-hmm.
think I'd be like that person. And and I think the dynamic between the characters are just so fascinating. And you would think like they could have taken the easy way out and filled it with a ton of flashbacks. And there was only like
Mm-hmm.
one major kind of flashback that they did. And it was important. So I'm not knocking it. But like you figure they would have been like almost could have done like Lost, where they're like you see a character and then they go back to his home life and then they fill time that way.
And
They
why?
did
Yeah,
no fillers in this, and that's
no,
what makes this movie so phenomenal. And honestly, why did this have any Oscar nominations? None, right?
I don't think so.
The
No.
acting alone should have gotten some Oscars on this. This movie to me is really not talked about enough. I feel like. And
Yeah.
because of that one, I mean, you think about it, right? Like, wouldn't if you were to give that task to make it to like it's different in a book because books are obviously they're always, you more drawn out. So you can do a lot in a book because, you're not sitting in a theater. They're not fitting in a time zone. Visual versus reading is always a different kind of attention span type of thing. But like, I mean, like, go if you go into that literally, 90% of this 90 maybe 95% of this movie is literally the walk. And they're having conversations and they're debating things and there's event and yes, there's some action sequences because, like but I just feel like that's what the brilliance of this movie is that like it didn't take any cheap ways out or anything cheap fillers of this movie, which it could have been so a lesser director could have easily done
Yeah,
that
no,
way.
that very it was very character driven in a way that, which I think movies have to be when they're set in a single location. Not that this was
Yeah.
a this you could essentially call this a single location because even
Yeah,
they
yeah,
were
I would.
traveling, they're on a
Yeah.
road. They're not leaving the
Yeah, they're
road.
on one road that just
Yeah.
keeps going, so it's
So
like there's no finish line. He actually says that line, so
yeah,
it's so
but
you're on the
if you look at if you look at other movies that take place in a single location, they have to be very heavily character and dialogue driven to keep you entertained.
right.
I think that's where this one really shined because the characters are great, the dialogue's great. There's this they're it's almost like a reality competition. I mean, this is very much
Yeah.
similar to a reality competition where you have cliques of boys that are kind of buddies, and then you have like the ones that are they don't get along with, and you have you know people getting eliminated, and you never know who's going to get eliminated next. I mean, I feel like this movie probably wasn't adapted until now because it took that long for kind of culture to catch up to. I mean, this was written in 1979. This was way
Right.
before reality television or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think when you see it filmed, you're like, oh my god, like this is. You could almost see this where this would would go. Like this might be and I'm exaggerating a little here, but I could almost see this as a forecaster of future events if the reality show culture and mentality kept going the way it was going, where the stakes needed to be
Yeah.
higher. We can't just have people eliminated; we have to have them killed.
Yeah.
You can almost see people like embracing this kind of stuff. So
I mean, I wouldn't like if I wouldn't mind seeing a version of this without the death, obviously, where it's just like you lose kind of a thing,
exactly, Well, like the Squid Game
But
competition on Netflix, they did the
yeah,
reality show based off the Squid Game. Obviously, people
yeah.
didn't get executed, but they got eliminated. It was
So,
still
so
entertaining.
yeah, so here's a way to do it, to add a because obviously if you just have people walking, it's just, oh, it's okay, it's an endurance test. Whoever can walk the longest. But here's a way to make it so that it's not like cruel, but yet like still there's some stakes. Every competitor puts up their own financial stake and say, okay, I'm gonna put up $50,000 that I'm gonna win this thing. And maybe you do it like, oh, I can do it like I'm gonna put up 50,000 that I'll place in the top 10. Like, you doesn't have to be the
Hmm.
exact thing, but something like that I think could be an interesting reality show because there is an athleticism to it. Could be a training in it, but yet there is a little bit of a stake now. It's not just who's the strongest person because there's a mental aspect. You're like, okay, I can do this, but like you need to have a strong mental thing, and they go through that a lot in this movie if you think about it, like because and I know I read something about the book where the book says like the winner in the book is different from the winner in this movie. And they
They
say it's
changed the
because
ending. Yeah, they did
yeah,
change the ending.
like actually significantly changed the ending. And I think what they did, so I think it's like, and they say because in the book, like even though the quote unquote winner never really wins because the
Right.
mental the toll it took on him is like that. Now, granted, I think if it was a reality show, there probably would have to be a finish line. There couldn't be like a
Or
I don't think there could be a no finish
you'd
line
have to
because
have
just
medics that were,
schematics.
yeah, like
Yeah.
medics would be on hand to be like, okay, no, we're pulling you. Like
I
you've
mean,
gone too
Survivor
far.
is probably one of the closest things we have to this kind of thing, right now, where it's like, you're kind of because people get hurt in Survivor. And there's been episodes where they've had to like stop the cat. There
Yeah.
was one where I guess someone had to get airlifted because I think they fell into a fire because they passed out or something. I
Have
mean,
you
I
ever
don't watch
watched
that show anymore,
Have you ever watched the
but
show Alive?
no, I don't think so. Is that?
It's a no, sorry, not Alive. Sorry, Alone. It's called Alone. Um,
Oh, I wanted to see that.
yeah. So what
Hmm.
this competition is, they take however many contestants. Sometimes it's 10 or sort of 15 or whatever. They take them to some remote wilderness location. Each person gets assigned a different site, and they're all so far away from each other they'll never run into each other. And they have to survive on their own for as long as possible. I'm talking with nothing but
Oh,
like they can bring like a set of tools. Like they might can bring a hatchet, a fishnet, some twine, a tarp. Like they have a handful of things they can bring. Other than that, they have to live off the land. They have to make their own shelter. They have to make their own fire. Blah 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 blah. But it's like a really high stakes version of Survivor because like these people are truly completely on their own. Like there's been people like the last season I saw, the guy stabbed himself in the leg with an arrow. I mean,
oy.
they said minimum 40 minutes for help to get there. And
Yeah.
then you
Well,
got
I mean, someone's there technically filming it, right? So they're not
no, they're filming it
100% alone.
themselves.
Oh, they do it
They film
themselves.
it
Oh,
themselves. So
okay,
they
okay.
don't even have a cameraman with them.
What if they
So
run out of batteries? Do they give them like 100 batteries or
yeah,
something, I guess?
I don't know how that worked, but yeah, no, they film themselves, so they're completely alone.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay, that makes
but
sense.
it's dangerous because like if something
Yeah.
happens, and there's been people have gotten like severely sick, or food poisoning, or like the guy got stabbed himself in the leg with an arrow. I
That would
mean,
probably be me.
yeah, that they could essentially die. Like nobody's died on the show
Yeah.
that I'm aware, but they could. So that's like the most closest I've seen to what this kind of could be. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
We're
yeah, I
getting
mean,
there.
I think too what I love about this movie is I've said this before about other, tales. I love movies where there's like where a group of people form a brotherhood. We've mentioned this like we said it
Yeah,
with when we did Predator Badlands. Like I'm like I like that they all like misfits came together and it's kind of like well like that there basically becomes a group of I guess four kind of
the
that
Four
really like
Musketeers. Yeah,
four musketeers. Yeah, remember and he goes, how do we do this with four of us? And it kind of is like a funny moment. There's some lighthearted moments in it because you figure it may seem out of place, but what else would you do? You have to kind of distract yourself from the horror that you're dealing with at that point. So the only way to do that is, to kind of like I'd probably be, I don't know if I'd be able to, I'd have the mental fortitude to do this, but, um, but yeah, like so it's like I like that part, like how they get together and they go, and they kind of like there's enemies and there's antagonists and protagonists. These you're rooting for certain people but what's hard is you can't root for everybody. Like there's more than one person that you really like in this, and that only one of them is going to make it. And it's like as that's where I think the horror comes in for the viewer because you're like, oh my god, I can't get attached to all these people and they're all likable. This whole group is likable. And then there's ones you just feel so bad for, like, and I mean, the one thing I will say is they do not hold back on they pretty much everything you could possibly think that could go wrong on this walk. I mean, me, I'm like, I'm always traumatized. One of my biggest weird fears is that I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom and I can't find one.
Yeah.
And so what that like, I mean, and they show that in great detail in this one where like these people like you can't even stop to for lack of a better word, take a crap. It's like you can't.
What
You
was
have to find
funny
a way to do it.
to
You
show
know?
you how good this movie is at like pacing. I had no sooner the thought had crossed my mind like, how do these people go number two? Then
Yeah.
the guy had to go number two right on the screen. I
Yeah.
was like, like this guy knows exactly what the audience is thinking,
Yeah.
and here's the answer right here.
Oh, and then my OCD of having to pull your pants up without wiping. Oh my God, I'm just like the cringe and like they even say like, oh God, you smell it. I'm just like all I could picture is like that. And then you think of it, they show all these injuries and like let me tell you one thing, the one thing that I would think of is bad enough, you think only your feet, but like Tim and I have done huge theme park days, and I've literally have purchased packs of underwear specifically for theme parks to avoid the chafing.
The
It's
chafing,
like
yes,
down there.
yeah.
So can you imagine walking for like 300 plus miles at one point towards the end with that like and back then the boxer there was probably weren't good underwear technology as there is
No,
now. There was no dry wicking back then,
no.
and like so like can you imagine just that alone, the pain and the rip and like, and then obviously, like, the Garrity's shoes at one point come off and the one guy's ankle's all mangled and he's walking on it. I mean, yes, to a point where you outwalk it to the point where it's probably so numb, but then what's going to happen? Obviously, you're compensating, so your other leg is going to give out, and
I tell you,
oh
walking is one of those things that sounds easy when you're sitting in a chair watching it on TV,
yeah,
and is very different when you actually try to do it in real life. Because I remember, I feel like the time I walked the most in my entire life in one single day was when I went to Washington D.C. And I bet you
oh yeah,
probably,
when you go to DC to visit, you are literally like 12 miles a day,
but I
probably walking the
probably,
same
I
thing.
mean, I'm guessing that was the day where, to the point where when at the end of the day I was like, I physically cannot walk anymore. This
Yeah,
is my limit. I can't do it. Now, granted, if I was had a gun to my head, I probably could have gone a little bit more.
yeah.
But
But also you stop. You're
yeah,
not going at the pace. You probably
right.
because Sarah, let me sit down for a second. You probably didn't go nonstop like these people did. Like literally, remember he at one point, which I thought was incredible, is when he like that sequence where he falls asleep while he's walking and
Yeah.
literally going. He goes, "I actually was having a dream." I'm like, "How do you even do that? Like, how do you fall asleep, have a dream, and still kept the pace?" And he was off the pace for just he got one warning
Yeah, but
out of that.
that's my point. That day, which I see single handedly in my mind, still feels like the most I've ever walked in one day, was probably, I would guess, less than 20 miles,
Yeah.
probably. And these
Well,
guys
yeah,
were
like
like at 300.
yeah, like there was one point when Julie and I went to Rhode Island once on a trip. And we took Obi, and I remember it was like we did this path, and we walked all around in the town, and we did all this stuff. And the funniest thing is like Obi, like left him in the hotel room because they were like there was one of the few. It was a dog themed hotel, and they were like you can actually leave your dogs in there. But usually when we leave Obi in there, he gets antsy, right? So we left him in the room and he was laying down like in his like laying position, right? We set up a little camera to try and watch him, but it wasn't working. And so we set up we left Julie's phone there on FaceTime and I took my phone FaceTime so we couldn't watch him. But at one point I'm like, this is terrible because that's like first of all, the battery's gonna die and it wasn't really a great signal. I'm like, let's just end this and hope for the best. He's in a room, there's nothing out he can get into. He should be fine. We came back, he hadn't moved in the position. He was so tired. And I was like, "Oh my God, what did we do?" That guy, like he is never that tired. I'm like, "What? we looked, and I looked at my Apple Watch for the first time. We had walked something like 9.8 miles or something. Because Julie and I, at the end of the day, were so exhausted we could barely move. And I'm like, what? How much did we walk? It didn't seem like we walked a lot. And it was that much. And we're like, oh my God, we literally walked Obi 9 miles. For a little dog, that's a
It's
lot.
a lot because
And this
he's
poor,
taking 4 steps for every one of yours.
I know, and like, and it was funny. Like the right before we got back to the room too, he was like, I could tell he was like, we were in a store and like everyone was petting him and they're like, he's so cute, he's so well behaved, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's really good, but I'm like, he's not really getting like he usually is when he sees someone new. Like he'll usually jump up and say hi, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what? How? It just didn't dawn on me. I just assumed we were tired, but it was literally that we had walked so much. So yeah, but I mean, like in theme park days, sometimes you end up going like 8 miles. But remember, there's rides,
You're
there's sitting down to
stopping. Yeah.
eat,
You're
so it's
stopping and
not the
taking
same.
breaks. No.
But I could not imagine the way they do that, and like especially, yes, there's moments probably where you get adrenaline. And I guess maybe if your life is true, like I don't think you could like I can't rationalize. Like I was thinking like maybe I should try it one day. Let me see how far I could walk before it gets up. But there's no stakes like that. So I would probably not like
Your
I'd
mind's going
probably
to give
like
out
not
way
be able to
before your
do it.
body. Yeah, because
Yeah.
when I was doing running, because I used to do like a coached running, like in your headphones, and the lady would like coach you through the building up to a 5K. And she said that all the time. She said your mind's going to give up before your body does. You can go way longer than what your mind, because your brain's going to tell you to stop. It's going to be like, nah,
Yeah.
screw this, you're done, and your body can keep going for miles past that. But you have to get past the mental block. Like running is all psychological for the
Yeah.
most part, and that's how it would be for this. I mean, the psychology would be far more important than the physicality because these guys are not athletes. They're
Yeah.
just random. They're also not 40 and 50 years old too.
No, yeah,
they
they're
are
all young.
teenagers. Yeah.
They're all young, so they do
Yeah.
have that
Yeah.
going for them. But like, I mean, yeah, like none of them are in shape. And I mean, they have like I guess they have food. They have a backpack, no less, too. So that automatically is a thing. And, you don't see them drink water very often. I remember they eat a lot. Like that one kid's chewing the same piece of gum, and that's just giving me anxiety
Well, they
because I'm
had
like,
apparently they got all the water they wanted because remember he kept calling for canteen. He would say
oh,
canteen
right. That's true. Yes.
47 canteen, and they would come
That's
give him
true.
one.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
did give you the water. Okay. So I guess because they, at some level, like, what's the point if everyone's going to drop dead in 10 minutes?
Right.
What's the point?
Yeah.
This is not going to give anybody any kind of hope, whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's like, and then the one guy, remember he had some kind of protein. He said, oh, this is the best protein you can get. It. And they're like, that's gross. But like, he's like, yeah, and look at him. He never even, I don't even think he lost ever. Like, the only time he ever lost and got a warning was because he went to help people. Like, so,
Yeah.
but it's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, and like that one kid is trying to write a book and he's like, I'm going to write a book on there. I'm like, you're very ambitious because you don't look like you have the fortitude. I'm sorry to make it to 50. Do you think they're just going to say, well, he's writing about it. Let's let him go,
I'd be
But
curious what like marathon runners who are used to running, 20, however long a marathon is, 20, what is it, 24.1 or
26
something,
miles. Yeah.
26.1, yeah. Um, yeah, how they would feel about what does it take? What does it physically take to walk this distance? I'm sure Stephen King did some amount
Yeah.
of research on this, but yeah, I was sitting there going, could they really walk that long, like overnight with no sleep or
Yeah.
like drifting off? I don't know. I did notice that I was reading the Wikipedia on the book was 4 miles an hour. They had to stay at 4 miles an hour,
Oh, that's
and
even
then I
worse.
saw
Yeah.
that they changed it in the movie to make it a little more realistic of 3 miles an hour. Because
Yeah.
four is getting on up there. Because I do the treadmill every day on my I have one of those under the desk treadmills, and I typically
Yeah.
walk at 3, which is what this movie is, and that's like a decent pace. When you get up to 4, you're getting pretty close to a jog almost. So yeah, I can't imagine trying to keep 4. 3 is bad
What I'm
enough.
thinking, though, it's like I mean, like I see, like, I mean, maybe they just don't show it. Maybe it's implied that they do this. Like, but they have these bags. I don't see them doing a bag check on these people. What if some guy just shows up with 2 grenades? There's like 2 things following them. What if they just turn around quickly and like
Yeah.
lob 2 grenades at these people? At first thought they're not going to shoot. They're going to like, oh, and like duck and get out of the way, and then you basically just freed 50 people, and they're all can run. It's like, but
They
I mean,
must have done a
granted, these
bag check.
people. Yeah, yeah, and they also, since they do volunteer, I guess there is some kind of element of like, well, you put yourself in there. They didn't technically force you here.
Yeah.
Because remember, he even said, Garrity said, why didn't I just stay in the car? Why did I get out? I could have got out of it, kind of thing. So,
Yeah, which implies
but
that even after you, it almost implied that he could have left any time before he checked in,
yeah, like he
even though he
didn't
won
have
the
to show
lottery.
up.
Yeah.
Like,
So
I
I
wonder
don't
what
know.
would have happened. Like, I mean, they didn't look like they had like a group of reserve people, like, oh no, well, there was a deadline. Remember, he did say, he goes, no, I already passed. She's like, why did you do this? Just back in, because
Oh,
the
that's right.
deadline,
There's a
my back
deadline.
out
Yeah.
deadline was, yeah,
But
it's
there
like a
is a
day
back
before.
out.
So I guess
Yeah.
yeah.
There is a back out
So
though.
like, I know
So
me, like if I was stupid enough to put myself in this lottery and then I hit that backup date, knowing me, I'd probably back out. I know myself.
I don't know. I just kind of feel like, to me, this is just a personal thing. I would have bought into this more if this had been mandatory. Like if
Yes,
this was like,
same.
it was like the draft. Like you can't get out of it. The
Yeah,
government's going to put you in the lottery. If you get picked, you're getting or you're getting shot. Period.
yeah. Well,
That
and
would make
that's
more
how I
sense to me.
thought. Yeah, when I went into it, that's what I thought. Like from the trailers, from the premises I read, I assumed that was it. Like you got, because it said a lottery picks. I'm like, okay, so it's probably something like when you're like the draft at 18 years old, you got to sign up, and you get picked, and it's like the Hunger Games, and I'm sure that influenced us a little bit too, because you just assumed it was like the Hunger Games kind of thing, and it's like, but you wonder, it's like just like I still wish there was more. Like, and I guess, like you said, I think it like if you the more you try and poke a hole in it, it's
Yeah.
just gonna ruin the movie for you. So it's like, why bother?
Just go with it. Yeah. Yeah.
Just go.
Exactly.
So,
Oh.
but yeah,
Well,
overall, I highly recommend this film. Definitely at the top of, as we said earlier, the top tier of Stephen King films
I'd
with
almost like to do that
adaptations. I
as our
think,
tier ranking. I'd almost like to do Stephen King film adaptations.
yeah,
Period. Just do like, because I feel
not the
like those.
shows. I think we'd have to like break it up, like
Yeah, not the
because the
shows, just the
shows,
movies.
yeah, like
Because don't you
yeah,
think
like
that? Because I feel like there's a big range there. I feel like there are S tier and there are D tier,
yeah.
and there's all manner in between. I think
Yeah,
it'd be a fun
and Maximum
discussion.
Overdrive won't even be in there because it's the best movie of all time, and that would just be somewhere else separately altogether.
Yes,
No,
that
no,
would
but
be
like
S
that'd be a
plus
hard
plus
one to
plus.
decide because yes, as a movie, it's ridiculous and silly, but it's so freaking enjoyable. So like,
I know
how
that would
would
be
you like?
tough.
Where would we don't have to do two tiers of like good films and enjoyability films at some level because like,
But
how do you put
that's what would
you
make the
know?
discussion fun, though. Yeah,
Yeah, I think but I think we should do it almost as like, maybe something like that big. We would almost bring in like other like round table group, like our friend, that. But like the thing is, you'd also have to watch all of these, so that's why like the Stephen King one, we'd have to like kind of prep a year in advance almost to make sure you watch
yeah.
everything because there's a lot. But
But I've already seen
and then
all of
like
them.
yeah, I mean, I've probably seen like night. I mean, there's
And
probably
I,
a handful I haven't
yeah,
seen, but like here's the problem, right? Salem's Lot, right? The miniseries was turned into a movie by cutting out some scenes or shortening it. So like how would you put that in there? Because I put the miniseries is one of my favorite Stephen King things of all time. It might be my favorite overall, but it was a TV miniseries movie. But if you put it together, it's one just really long movie, but they
I
did
think
shorten it for a
I think you'd
theatrical
have to do.
release.
I think you'd have to do miniseries and movies in the same bucket.
Yeah,
Because
because I
there's
mean,
too
like,
many of them, like Sleepwalkers,
yeah.
Under the Dome. Under Dome's a television series. How do you do? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
see,
hard.
that one would have to be separate, I think,
Yeah,
and
I don't know.
like we couldn't use like Castle Rock or Welcome to Derry because those are straight out
Like
TV
spin,
shows.
yeah, and there's a
But
kind of
like,
spin-offs too.
yeah, and I think, but there was the Shining like mini series movie, like TV movie but that's technically you put them together, it's a movie. So it's like, how do you? I think have to be a lot of just like that's why I said we need a year in advance. You need to like
Yeah,
really prep this and prep the
yeah.
rules for this one. We're not going to start with this one. There's no way we could
Somebody
start
on
with
YouTube's
this.
probably already done it anyway. They
Oh
probably
yeah, I'm
already
sure
know.
they do, but
Yeah,
but still not us doing it.
that's right. Yeah.
We do it to add a special flair to it, But
So what is our beer pairing? Like, if we were going on a long walk, what beer would we bring with us if they allowed beer?
so I found a beer called Long Walk.
That works.
Yes, it's by Peabody Heights Brewery out of Baltimore, Maryland. But we have to ask Emily if she knows this brewery
Yeah.
because she's frequents Baltimore a lot. And so this one, its ABV is 6.3, and it's a bit of flaked rice IPA, and Munich malts create the perfect summer West Coast IPA suitable for a long walk. Citra Simcoe, Cryo Citra, and Cryo Simcoe bring a potent aromatic hop punch to the proceedings. Bright and grapefruit pith. I love that
Oh,
word, pith.
pith.
And subtle dankness sit atop an aforementioned crisp yet flavorful build of this new spin on an old classic. And sorry the way I copy and paste that, I forgot to wrap it, so I had to keep scrolling to the left.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that
so
looks good.
yeah. See, that's the thing. That would like I could probably walk longer if I had a nice beer in hand, but I'd be dehydrated so fast.
I've
You
wanted
know.
to do one of those beer 5K runs.
Well,
Have
Andy
you heard of
Sato
those?
does those all the time. You should
Yeah,
reach out to him.
that would be fun. I don't know
Yeah.
if they have any
There,
in Wilmington, but I would
did you
love
ever
to
see
do it.
that Taco Bell one where you have to like run and then you like eat a burrito every or eat a Taco Bell item or something?
Oh,
I
I
think
could
every
totally do that. I like
yeah.
I've got an ironclad stomach for Taco Bell. Like
Same with me.
I
Yeah.
go to Taco Bell at least once a week, if not twice. So I could
Yeah,
easily do that.
same with us too. And
Yeah.
now I'm in the mood for it. Shoot. Did you see the best thing Taco Bell's ever created though, I think? The edible sauce packet.
No, no.
It is literally the size of a sauce packet, but it looks like it's like a little like Pop-Tart type of thing. And inside of it is the hot sauce of your choice.
Where is this at? I never heard of this.
It's not out yet. It was at the Live Mas event. That's how iconic Taco Bell. People like say, "Oh, McDonald's and this and Burger." Taco Bell literally has a live event once a year called Live Mas, where they bring you all the stuff that's coming out of Taco
Oh,
Bell for the year.
I'm a
And I
huge
did it.
Taco Bell fan.
Oh yeah, and I did a test market for Taco Bell years ago. I think it was for the I think what the item ended up being, like I think I got paid like $40 for 2 hours to try stuff, and it was great. But I think it was like I think it ended up becoming the enchilito, that item, but like they didn't have a name for it when we were there. I came up with I think I was close. I think I called it a crisperito was my suggestion because they asked you what would you name
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah.
I put in like crisperito, which is not it's kind of stupid now, but like enchilito is not that far off from it. But so maybe I was a genius and I didn't know that. But yeah, go look this up, Tim. It's literally it looks like a little sauce packet size, like little pastry thing. But when you squeeze it, like the hot sauce comes out, but they bake it so the hot sauce is hot. So literally you open it up and pour it on there, and then you get to eat the rest of it, which has the hot sauce remains in it.
Oh,
It's
I
like
love that.
genius. Why did it take so long for someone to come up with that?
I
That's the
love.
best, the most annoying part of Taco Bell is that there's little sauce packets. I put like 6 pack. Like I'll get like one of my like if I had a default order. Like lately, I've been trying to change it up, trying different things. So they're always coming out with new things now.
Yeah, yeah.
But like my standard go to order used to be a like a the Mexican pizza. I switched to veggie Mexican pizza to get a little healthier. And I put like 6 of the fire sauce packets on this thing. Then I would get the I used to get the Baja beef chalupa. Again, I got a little better. So now my Taco Bell order is like more it's expensive as a regular Mexican restaurant because I like swap it to
Yeah.
get like
Get all the
to like
like
the
healthy
chicken in
stuff.
it. Yeah, to get the chicken in there. And then I'll usually get like another like soft taco supreme in it. So literally my Taco Bell order ends up being almost like $18 myself. Julie, it's so funny. She switched to those like little like those like what do you call them? The Lux boxes where it gets to like 4 things in a like a drink.
Yeah.
So she
I
switched to
mean,
those.
it's
But I'll go through like 12 fire sauce packets. We used to always go like we'd hit to the maximum of like 25. And one time we told this guy at our Taco Bell back when we were in Amityville, we before you could order it like online, the sauces like
yeah.
that. We said, "Can you just give us a bunch of sauces?" He's like, "Yeah," and he threw in a bunch. I don't think we caught how many he gave us. I think he gave us like 48 packets of
I
sauce.
they did that
Where
to
to
me one
heaven.
time, and I didn't even ask for sauce. And I came out. We literally had like it was like 30 sauces. I was like, dude, they got to be losing money. Like I didn't even ask for sauce, and the guy was like, fill it
Yeah.
up. They don't give
Well,
a
and it's
crap.
great because they've yet to go to that model that like McDonald's and Burger King go to, where they'll give you like one sauce free and then the rest they
Yeah,
charge you
no, they
for.
don't give a Taco Bell don't give a
It's
crap.
no, that's why they're awesome. But what's funny is like I've there's only been one thing I've gotten from there that I've said, this kind of misses, and that's their avocado sauce. I just don't like it. Then they try
I'm
and
not a
put it on so
fan.
many things now.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of their avocado sauce. I mean, I'll eat it. It's
Yeah.
not, but it's
Yeah, no,
not.
it was
I don't
if
ask
it was
for it.
on. Yeah, there was something I had where it was on it with another sauce, and I was like, okay, it's not so bad in there. But like They must have invested so much in this avocado sauce because I feel like it's on way too many things for the quality of that avocado sauce. I love avocado and I love guacamole. You can't put enough of that on for me. But for some reason that avocado sauce is just a miss. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I had Taco Bell today, as a matter of fact. That's how much I
I know
have
now
Taco
I'm in
Bell.
the mood, and Julie's gonna come home. She's gonna be like, "I'm hungry, hungry," and we have food in the house, and we got like, but like I can feel like usually it's funny when Julie always says like whenever we're tired, we're hungry, and we don't feel like making anything. Taco Bell almost always is the
It
thing
is.
that
It's the
wins.
default. Like I love. Like I'm a bona fide Taco Bell fan. Like
Yeah,
I'm a
and
fanboy.
the best part is one I could walk to. It's so close. And literally our last two main residents, not counting when we were temporarily living at like my parents before we in the middle of the between when we moved out of Amityville and when we moved out to California. But our last two residents literally have a Taco Bell like within walking distance to us. And I'm like, I feel like people are gonna think like, is that why you pick those places? I mean,
Well, like our Taco Bell that we have several Taco Bells, but the one I prefer right up the street. I swear to God, I've never seen a teenager working in this Taco Bell. Like every person I've ever
you got
seen,
like Taco Bell lifers.
yeah, like every person I've seen working at this Taco Bell is like 30 and up. And let me tell you, dude, it's the best Taco Bell ever. Because now
Eh,
I'm not blasting teenagers, but I'm
no,
just saying there's if you're like 30 or 40 working at Taco Bell versus like 16, you're taking a little more pride in your job. Like you're, I mean, I mean, when you're getting paid minimum wage
yeah.
as a teenager, you don't give a crap.
I
And
mean,
it's
we're
a
all there. We all did it
yeah, we all
already.
did it.
Yeah.
I was the same way. So, so you don't necessarily get the best service and things,
Yeah.
but I'll tell you what, this Taco Bell's on point, boy. Those people are lifers. They're in it. They're I just love it. That's why I'm there. Like, I mean, they know my car now. Like, they
Yeah.
literally know when I drive up. Like,
They're
they're
like,
like, oh yeah,
"Hey, it's
so
Tim."
that's Tim and Anna because Anna's my
Now,
Taco Bell
what? So you know
buddy.
what? You should befriend them enough to they create like the Civil War Chalupa or something.
Yes,
Like, let's get a naming rights there.
I didn't
Well,
know
if
this was
they,
going to turn into a Taco Bell podcast, but
I know,
it's
but so one final thing. I'll move on from we'll move on from Taco Bell. Although I know Allie from Spooky Chicks is probably loving this if she's listening to this. I'm going to tell her to make sure she stays to the very end of our latest or this episode about the long walk. Um, which I
the
realize
Taco
probably has the
Bell.
wrong episode number now because we're sneaking in that we delayed it, but it's
Oh, that's
okay.
right. Yeah.
We'll figure that out later. It says episode 356. It's going to be technically 357. But anyway, when you finally you and Olivia get to come out and visit here, we're going to take you down because I know you want to see different spots of California.
Yeah.
We're going to take you down to Pacifica. We can do it on the way or on the way back from if we go to San Francisco. But right on the beach in Pacifica, and I used to live there, so I've been to this one, but now it became a Taco Bell cantina. So it's got, you got the margaritas, you can get a beer. But this Taco Bell,
Oh,
literally, one side is a parking lot and go in like normal, but the other side is entry from the beach. So it's literally like
nice.
right on the water, on the beach, this Taco Bell. So imagine laying on the beach and say, I'm hungry, and then walk over and there's like this full on Taco Bell cantina where you can get a margarita and a
Wasn't there a
bunch of
Taco
Taco Bell.
Bell hotel at one? Yeah, there's one in oh, okay, it was a temporary pop-up. There was a
Oh my God, that would have
it-
been awesome. Can you
yeah, what
imagine
it
that?
was in Palm Springs. There was a temporary pop-up Taco Bell hotel and resort. It was all Taco Bell themed. Like I would
Oh my
would
God.
totally stay there in a heartbeat. I would love
It's
that.
funny is all the times we've done things together, we've never had a Taco Bell. Like we've always like I think because we're always on vacation mode, I guess. But
Yeah.
like we've never like actually grabbed Taco Bell. But yeah, like the one thing they need to do though is like how some like Pizza Huts will have the little buffets. They need to have a Taco Bell buffet. Where they're like the stuff there and you can make your own little tacos and
Oh my
like a
God,
taco bar. And
that would be such a
we'd be in
disaster.
trouble.
Yeah, it would be such a disaster. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
it would be, but like it'd
I'd be
have to
in,
be like a one time thing,
yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
special night. But
So
anyway, sorry, and much to any other the Bell fans out
did I
there.
mention this podcast is sponsored by
Yes,
Taco Bell?
no, we can't. I'd love to say that, but we can't. I'm in manifesting it for Allie from Spooky Chicks to be because she even has a Live Moss tattoo on her wrist. I'm telling you, we've literally had discussions through Instagram like that go just Taco Bell for like an hour. So we can't steal that from her. That is she needs to be the
The
official
official
spokesman
podcast of
in the
Taco
horror
Bell.
community for Taco Bell. I can't take that away from her. But
Oh my
yeah,
God.
but yeah, let's move on to our final segment here, our question, which we kind of discussed some of it, but it's got got a second part which we didn't really address. So,
Okay, the first part I think
um,
we kind of know the answer to, but
yeah, it says, "Would you in dire straits? Would you volunteer for the long walk?" That's a big no for me. I would have to be so like be forced.
I'd have to be
I'd have to
forced
be
at
forced.
gunpoint to do
Yeah.
this. Like, there's no
Yes.
way. Yeah, I would not do it.
I'd have to be like, you're gonna die. But there's a way you can live if you try this thing, and that'd be the only
Yeah,
way they could
yeah,
claim this thing.
yeah. That's the only way. Yeah, we discussed why that
Yeah.
premise is problematic for us. Yeah.
But yeah, but second part is, and what a good time for me. Like I was so prophetic to come up with this our fan topic parts for this one because
Yeah.
this one works well. Um, which character do you think you're the most similar to? And this is strictly on the movie, not the book. Like who do you like associate the most with? Like you can feel say like, yeah, that would be me in it.
Um, I think it
And it
would
could be a mix. If you could, it could be an amalgam of two characters if that's easier.
for me it would be amalgam of the kid that was trying to write the book because I would probably be looking at this. I'd probably be wanting to like record this uh, uh, with my wannabe writing skills. But I think in the movie, like when I was watching it, I identified more with Garrity, who is like the primary character, just because he wasn't doing it without, I mean, not giving too much away, but he wasn't doing it for the money. He wasn't doing it for the
Yeah,
wish. He had reasons other than that, and they had to do with his family. And I
yeah,
think to me that's kind of where I'm at. Like I wouldn't want I wouldn't want the money and the fame and all that stuff. Like the family and stuff would come before that for me.
yeah,
100%. Like there's no doubt in my mind. Like it's. I've even told Olivia, I was like, if we won the lottery, there'd be a lot of things that we would do. I'd be paying people's houses off. I'd be paying people's
yeah,
debts off. But I would not be out buying a yacht. I would not be out buying a Lamborghini or some kind of crazy sports car. I just don't care about that stuff. I don't want any of that stuff. I want to just have enough to be secure, happy, comfortable, and then travel would be a big one. But other than
yes.
that,
Travel, huge.
I don't care about luxury crap like that, gold watches and stuff. I could care less. I don't want any of that stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah. No, I'm the
that's kind of
same
where
way.
I'm at.
I may buy a couple extra monolith shelves, but
Yeah.
and then actually, I probably need a whole. That would probably be the one purchase. I'd probably have to buy like a special like pop up little thing of just for my monolith that I'd have a tunnel to get to my Blu-rays.
I
But
would I would have a lot of stuff that I could normally buy given enough time. In other words, like so my
right,
board games, I just have more board games. I have more
yeah,
Blu-rays. I have more comic books, but it wouldn't be like I'd have more sports cars. I'd have more yachts. I'd have more tennis courts, kind of stuff. Like I
yeah.
just
I would buy. Yeah, I would. I wouldn't buy things that like that's the funny thing. It's like everyone always just assumes you get like you win the lottery, you do all these things that you don't do normally. Like why? You would just buy more. You'd be more of what you are. That's it. But that would be the
exactly.
logical progression, you
Yeah,
know?
I was like, oh, what do I need a freaking sports car for? I've been driving a 2005 Corolla for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I
Like honestly,
what?
I always said I happen to love my Subarus. The last two Subarus that I've had, I went from Subaru to Subaru, and I love them both. Honestly, I would just buy the top of the line Subaru, and I'd be more than happy.
Yes, there you
And
go.
I would also like, and I would travel a lot more. Like I love to travel, so I'd travel as many places as I could. I love going out to eat. I would go to maybe fancy restaurants. Like, but it's still it's like just a natural progression of what it is. I like to treat people to things when they're out, so I would probably do that. I would probably leave massive tips. I'm always an over tipper as it is. I'd probably be a ridiculously over
You'd
tipper.
be getting the RIP tour at Universal and going
Oh,
all
for all
out.
of
Yeah,
us, yeah.
yeah.
Every
But
time. But, it's like but it's still it's not changing me. It's not changing the core of me,
right,
It's
yeah,
like in fact, it's doing things that I always wanted to do that are like that couldn't do because like I'd love to donate I'd love to make sure that nobody is like sitting there on the street like hey like any I literally like probably knowing me I probably walk around with like a pile of money and I just like hand it to people on the street say go get something to eat here eat or I'd go into if I go in there and like I always like wish I would be in one of those situations where I see like like those Instagram videos where the guy's like hey I need like $20 and and then he's like since you gave me $20 here's 1,000 kind of thing like I want to be like one of those people like
yeah.
pretend to need something
It's
and
why
then when
I
I see someone
I can't wrap my head around the billionaire mindset. I just, and I'm not getting,
Yeah.
I'm not getting political here. I'm talking about just in general, just economics. I can't wrap my head around the billionaire mindset where I have so much money, I literally cannot spend it. I literally
Yeah.
cannot spend it. I could give away half of it and still be the richest person I know. I
Yeah.
just can't comprehend the idea of having that much and wanting to keep it and not
Yeah.
doing anything with it other than getting using it to make more money. I don't get it. I don't get
Yeah,
the
like
psychology.
I don't let's see where's the true enjoyment of that? Like, there's like I mean, I
I
know
don't
this
know.
now is getting all philosophical with this thing, but like where would the enjoyment if you don't like I would rather share it with people that like don't have it, but that are my friends, so we could all like still be like I wouldn't want them to look at me like, "Oh, now he's got money, he's not associating with us." Why? Why would you do that? I don't understand. Why would you like not associate with the people you were and care about? Like you should want to be more with them and do more for them so you're doing more fun things together.
I,
It's
well, I think it kind of goes back to what you said. Like, the more money you have, in theory, should just mean you're more of yourself.
yeah.
So maybe that kind of shows where you are. If you're a selfish person, the more money you get, the more selfish you get. I don't know,
Yeah.
but
Like, they say these billionaires could like literally like some people are so rich, we won't name his name, but like, that he could like solve world hunger and still be a billionaire, and it's like so it's
well, it's
like why
yeah,
wouldn't you do that? Like I
they were
would
like you
do
could
it.
tax these people. You could tax them at you could take half of their income and solve issues in the country, like major issues for millions of people, and they would
Yeah.
still be the richest person in the whole freaking country. They'd still have more
Yeah.
money than 99.999% of the world, and they would. And
Yeah.
I don't get it. I just
I
don't
mean,
understand it.
yeah, and I just don't understand the mindset why you wanted you wouldn't want to do that. Like, wouldn't that make you feel good than just doing all these things and then being like alone and being just thought of as like a horrible person? I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't
I
get it.
couldn't do that.
But anyway,
But
we'll
but yeah,
never
I
answer it here.
actually but yeah. But for my second question, yeah, part of the second question, I'd be the same. I think I definitely would Garrity because I could see myself doing it for like more noble reasons. Like if I'm gonna risk this, right? I'm gonna risk my life like to do this for what? Just so I can be okay and everything is still the same shitty world we're in like that like there and like in that world that they're in the movie like it's so bad like what like what where is the true thing in it? Like I mean like at some level it's like you're probably not going to have like and that's what I think one of the themes they tried to push honestly is that's why they said like the one line he says something like, "You know what? Isn't it better to have a really good friend for a short time than not have a friend?" Or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. I'm paraphrasing. And like that's one of the things that I loved about this movie is like that, like, and then like that and Garrity at the end, he's like, he goes, you saved me, I loved you. I don't think I could do that kind of thing. Like all that kind of stuff. Like I like to see that stuff because that's what truly gives you hope. That's what you want to see. It's like so it's like, and some of the ones they didn't really give the motives for, but you could just tell why some did it. They just want to be selfish. Like, what is it,
Mm-hmm.
Barkovich or whatever? He was and you don't buy his thing at the end. He was just going crazy. Like he was just losing his mind. Like
Yeah.
he didn't have a change of heart in any way. The only guy that really had a true change of heart is was Stebbins, I think. Is that the character?
I think so.
Where
Yeah.
he realized what a mistake he made to do it, but he like, and he realized he's like, you know what, this is I'm not gonna get what I want out of this in the
Right.
end,
Yeah.
kind of thing. He might be one of and he may be, but even at some level, Garrity did too also realize, but he realized too late. But he still he still kind of stayed to his core belief. He still like I mean, there's the relationship with his father, and he realized he goes, you know what, I was him. That's and I think he was okay with it. In the end, he was okay. He made the mistake, and he did what his father did, but he stayed true to himself and what his father was trying to teach him. So so I think that's kind of why I one of the reasons why I would relate to him too, because I think I'd want to, like you said, I'd want to do it, with the money wouldn't matter. It's like, unless I could, unless that money literally could start changing things for everyone, and it doesn't seem like it would in that universe of the movie.
Right.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good question. That sparked some good conversation. But
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I really like fan topic food. That may be one of my favorite things we ever came up with. You know?
yeah, I think it tends to always go places I didn't expect it to go sometimes, which I
Yeah.
do like. Yeah.
Somehow this one went to Taco Bell, but you know, how
Hey,
did we even get into the Taco Bell?
that's
What
one of the
happened?
most that's one of the most normal tangents we've ever been on.
Yeah, but I don't remember how we got to it. I can't remember what made us think about it.
How did we
Like
get on
what
Taco Bell?
veered us to Taco Bell?
I'll figure it out when I go back to edit this.
Yeah, when you edit, you got,
I'll
and then just text me because I can't remember. But anyway,
All
either
right,
way.
guys.
So, buddy, this is a fun episode,
It
though.
was a
I
fun
like this one.
episode. Yeah,
This is a good one.
go check out The Long Walk if you haven't already. I think it's playing on, what was it? What streaming service did I watch this on? Was it Stars?
Max? HBO Max or Stars? Maybe
It's on,
yeah,
I think
one
it's
of
on.
those.
I think it's on Stars actually.
Yeah, and you know what? Just to keep in theme, go grab Taco Bell before, bring it back.
Watch Taco Bell while you're watching The Long Walk in it. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and then when the guy like completely poops his pants in the middle of the road,
Yeah.
you'll have,
You know
like,
you'll
some
be
co-
there shortly. No, actually,
Exactly.
Taco Bell doesn't do that to me. Like you, I have an iron constitution.
Have
when it
you
comes to
seen that
Taco Bell.
hat or that hat that says like people who get diarrhea from Taco Bell are weak and
Yes,
so
I did see
like,
that. I know we need to have those shirts.
Yeah,
And
it's
the
like some
hats.
like people who get diarrhea from Taco Bell are weak and I can't remember the end part of it. Like basically their bloodline is weak and
Yeah,
they
you
will not
get it.
survive. I can't remember.
No, you might as well give up if you can't handle handle Taco Bell.
All right, so yeah, Live Moss, Taco Bell.
Yes.
Go see The Long Walk, and we'll see you guys back here next week.
Yes. Yeah.